Hi everyone, and thanks for being with me. I'm going to ask an Australian a question, which is purely about Australians voting in the US election. So, if we were able to vote, or if we chose to vote, I don't know why we would. What would that possibly look like? So the question is, as you see on up here, is if Australians voted in the US election, what would that look like? Now, I've often wondered about that myself. Are Australians just as crazy as those people in the United States? If we had kind of like a Donald Trump here, would people be sucked into his misogyny and his hatred, or would we be a little bit more circumspect and not accept the bullying and demigodding, if you like, nature of someone like Donald Trump? Well, the answers are quite interesting because the ABC did a survey of 1,000 people which came upon these sorts of solutions or these responses, I guess, from a specific question. So a poll of 1,000 asked, if you were eligible to vote in the American election, who would you vote for? And the result is interesting. So I'll show you two sets of results here. One of them is for the overall result. So in August 2024, it was 28% would vote for Trump. September it was 27, and currently in October it was 26%. And for Harris, it went from 30. Now this is quite interesting. It went from 30 to 48 to 50. So since Harris has become a little bit more well known, I guess, even here in Australia with US-centric sort of media reporting that seems to happen here, more people are choosing Harris now, up to 50%. And there's a percentage that wouldn't vote. We have compulsory voting here in Australia, so most people are familiar with voting, but there'll be a certain number of people who would choose not to. And in this case, it's up to 15%. Now, I think one of the most important things to acknowledge is that Sky News and the right-wing media do not have the influence that one would expect them to have here in Australia, which is indicated, I think, by these, because they're pounding this notion around Trump being the greatest thing since God, and emulates Jesus Christ. So, this notion is being sold by Sky News continually, but it doesn't seem to be getting any major traction, even though it probably has some influence about this to some extent, but not as much as what I would have thought. But when we look down at some of these statistics, it's a little bit more worrying. So when we look down at the gender breakdown, that is the way women, men, and men under 30 would vote, we have a completely different picture. Except it's evident that women would have influenced the overall vote in terms of the 50% that would vote for Harris. And because women are at 56 and that would vote for Harris, and 17% for Trump, men are at 44 and 36 for Trump, but under 30s, and this is the statistic that particularly disturbs me, I guess, is that the majority of under 30s would vote for Trump compared to Harris. Now, one of the issues that I find extremely disturbing is the misogynistic version presented by Trump and the Republican Party. So the attack on women. I also have an issue with the continual attack on immigrants. This notion that it must be tough, and the version of toughness which we see from Donald Trump is, this male superiority that men are always right, that they have always got the right answers, that they dominate, they control, and all those sorts of things are quite evident. And the attack, obviously, on Harris because she's a woman of colour, also indicates this sense of misogyny, that she's a low IQ individual, and that people have even used incredible language to describe her, which clearly is misogynist. So young men in particular, are impacted and influenced by this. Now, my fear is that here in Australia, that our politicians will see this as an opportunity to be able to attract the vote of young men, particularly men under the age of 30. And they are becoming an increasingly large group of people that will influence and it will impact elections, particularly as the older generation pass away. So this is a concern because they're the ones that would favour someone like Trump. So let me know what you think, if you're an Aussie, what you think about all of this, and where would your vote sit if you had the opportunity to vote in the United States elections. I don't know why you would, because frankly their election system is stuffed, to say the least, with the Electoral College, way out of dated, and just a crazy idea in the first place. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. In the meantime, take care, look after yourselves, and more importantly, be safe.